Welcome to Dark Files, where we dive deep into some of the most chilling true crime stories that have left a mark on history. Today, we're uncovering a case that sent shockwaves through America: the Greenlease Kidnapping, a crime so cold-blooded and meticulously planned. It still haunts the minds of many to this day. In 1953, a tragedy unfolded that would forever change a family, a city, and the country. A young boy, only 6 years old, was snatched away, sparking one of the most sensational kidnappings in American history. The crime was not only shocking because of the brutality and scale, but also because of the figures behind it. A notorious criminal duo whose actions were every bit as calculated as they were horrifying. But what happened in those dark, terrifying days of the Greenlease kidnapping? How did the perpetrators manage to execute such a cold-blooded crime? And how did the FBI work relentlessly to bring justice for a grieving family? Stick with us until the end to find out, because this case is not one you want to missing. The year was 1953, and in the heart of Kansas City, Missouri, the Greenlease family was living a picture-perfect life. Robert Greenlease, a successful businessman, was happily married to his wife, Thelma Greenlease. Together, they had 3 children, but none were as beloved as their youngest child, Bobby Greenlease Jr., a 6-year-old boy with a bright future ahead. But on September 28, 1953, everything changed. Bobby was abducted right in front of his school by 2 individuals, Carl Austin Hall and Bonnie Heddy. They had meticulously planned the abduction for weeks, targeting Bobby and his wealthy family for a ransom that would set them free from their financial struggles. The kidnapping was executed with chilling precision. Hall and Heddy drove up to the school where Bobby was waiting for his ride home. Heddy, posing as a kindly woman, approached Bobby and told him that his father had sent her to pick him up. Bobby, trusting the woman, happily entered their car. But the nightmare had just begun. Carl Austin Hall, the mastermind behind the abduction, was no stranger to crime. Hall had a lengthy criminal history, but it was his association with Bonnie Heddy that made their partnership truly dangerous. Bonnie, a woman of average intelligence but a deep sense of loyalty, had a troubled history as well. She had spent time in prison for a past offense and was desperate for money, which led her to partner with Carl. Hall, having served time in various facilities, knew how to manipulate people, and he was good at it. Together, they formed a criminal duo that was cold, calculating, and ruthless. Their plan was simple: kidnap young Bobby. The kidnappers were not only after the ransom, demand a ransom from his wealthy father, and escape with the money, but were also aiming to make a quick escape without getting caught. But little did they know, their perfect crime would soon unravel. The ransom demand a shocking phone call. After the abduction, Hall and Heddy wasted no time. The very next day, Bobby's father, Robert Greenlease Sr., received a terrifying phone call, a demand for $600,000 in 1953. This was a staggering amount of money, equivalent to $5.7 million today. The kidnappers gave Robert Sr. strict instructions. They would release Bobby only if the ransom was paid, and they made it clear that if he tried to contact the authorities, Bobby's life would be in danger. Robert Greenlease, understandably distraught, complied. He contacted the FBI, and a nationwide search for the boy and the criminals began. The FBI's involvement only heightened the pressure on Hall and Heddy. Little did they know, they were walking into a trap. As the FBI launched their investigation, the case became one of the most high-profile abductions in U.S. history. But Hall and Heddy made a critical mistake: they underestimated the power of the law. Robert Greenlease Sr. was working alongside the authorities to negotiate with the kidnappers, hoping they would release Bobby unharmed. However, the FBI quickly realized that they were dealing with dangerous criminals who were willing to go to any lengths to escape with the money. With every passing hour, the tension grew. What had initially been a straightforward case was quickly becoming a race against time to locate Bobby and prevent a tragedy from unfolding. The FBI was getting closer, piecing together clues from Hall's past. But the duo was relentless, constantly moving around the city in an attempt to evade capture. After days of high tension and negotiation, the unthinkable happened. On October 5, 1953, just a week after the kidnapping, authorities made a grim discovery. They found Bobby's lifeless body buried in a remote area outside of Kansas City. It was revealed that after receiving the ransom money, Hall and Hetty murdered Bobby in cold blood. The exact details of the child's death remain unclear, but the most heartbreaking aspect of the case was that Bobby had been alive when they received the ransom money. Hetty and Hall, despite all their manipulations, took a child's life. The shock reverberated across the nation. The Greenlease family, devastated beyond measure, could only mourn the loss of their son. The FBI was getting closer, piecing together clues from Hall's past. But the duo was relentless, constantly moving around the city in an attempt to evade capture. After days of high tension and negotiation, the unthinkable happened. On October 5, 1953, just a week after the kidnapping, authorities made a grim discovery. They found Bobby's lifeless body buried in a remote area outside of Kansas City. It was revealed that after receiving the ransom money, Hall and Hetty murdered Bobby in cold blood. The exact details of the child's death remain unclear, but the most heartbreaking aspect of the case was that Bobby had been alive when they received the ransom money.